I'm changing up the video formula and trying out some new things, and one of those things is just talking about the videos that pop up on my homepage. So today, I want to talk about this video, Army Rangers Smoked Some Crips in 1989. What a fucking title. Now, I'm dyslexic and pretty fucking stupid, so I thought this video was gonna be some infographic hypothetical scenario of what would happen if there was a US Army operation into the parts of South Central LA. I didn't even see the 1989 in the title, but once I hit play on the video, it smacked me right in the fucking face, and I realized that this was a real fucking event that went down. Now, the biggest difference is that this event took place in Tacoma, Washington, about 17 hours of a drive away from South Central LA, where the Crips were originally formed in 1969, and about an hour drive away from Kurt Cobain's hometown in Aberdeen. Now, the Tacoma Crips, or overall the Washington Crips, were formed sometime later in the 1980s, beginning 1990s, which was influenced by the West Coast migration. The biggest thing is they don't have the long generational depth of the gang history like the LA Crips, whereby Tacoma's presence emerged later as an offshoot influenced by a migration and cultural spread rather than as a part of the original foundation. But one thing that was happening between the two was the crack epidemic, and our story takes place on Ash Street, an open-air drug market in the words of Popo Medic. Now, I don't want to cover his video word for word, and I encourage you to go watch it for yourself, but a semi-brief rundown. Police were having a hard time trying to contain the overwhelming gang activity because they had never experienced anything like it before, and I wouldn't blame them because my original thought was, people are living out there? Like the fuck? But to many people's surprise, there were residents on Ash Street, and they were calling the police and got nowhere. So we enter in Staff Sergeant Bill Folk, who had purchased his home in the residence and hoped that the street life would be a phase. Now, a comment on this video says the incredible part of this story is being able to buy a home at $20K, and I'm internalizingly dying from that because me and my wife are trying to look for a place. So to protect his investment, he would actively try to push out the street life without resorting to violence. Now, I got my hopes up because in this video, Popo Medic says that he was deployed to Panama, and I was thinking of Operation Just Cause from COD Black Ops 2, but that was in December and Ash Street took place in September. So no cameo, but after his deployment, he formed a neighborhood watch, which made tensions turn like butter. I'm sorry for if I'm choppy a little bit. I'm reading my own fucking script and I'm already fucking up. But now, enter in the head of the Hilltop Tacoma Police Department. He just removed 4 out of 6 officers from the street due to budget constraints. Sounds familiar? I swear I've seen something like this nowadays, but we usually learn from our mistakes. Well, the Tribune was like Nostradamus, stating that the neighborhood was on the verge of vigilante action. So, Folk was hosting a barbecue for the neighborhood and old army buddies at his house when some local Crips pulled up to his house and gave this friendly homeowner association G.I. Joe the gun finger threat, penciling him in for a visit with the Angel of Death. More events unfolded after that on that day, but as I said, you need to watch the video because Popo Medic's editing and presentation are just fucking awesome, man. And it's only 12 minutes. I think you can fucking spare 12 minutes nowadays in a fucking society where 30-minute videos are the new standard. Fuck off. Only difference I saw was in the wiki article on this event. It says neighbors reported that Falk was agitating the Crips, but then again, the Crips did throw rocks and shoot BBs at his house. But then, Folk invited over a few more army buddies from the 2nd Ranger Battalion to have a barbecue and suggests it wouldn't hurt if they came armed. Now, the 2nd Ranger Battalion specializes in direct action raids, airfield seizures, special reconnaissance, high-value target missions, and air assault missions. According to Falk, I keep fucking spelling his name wrong in the script, whoops. One guy, in his own words, thought he was gonna John Wayne it. Not to spoil too much, but a soldier did hit did hit that gangster in the shoulder, and that gangster fled. And I bring this up because these guys knew that Folk at least was in the army, and they didn't think at one point that he was with his army buddies at that barbecue, and that gunning for him was a bad idea that day. Like, I known better not to fucking polish my car with industrial sandpaper. I mean, this would explain them, like, these gangsters showing up with 30 other fucking guys. But after Folk gave the call, his number grew to 15, which he is sorta outnumbered, but these guys are trained to be offensive, establish security perimeters, maintain discipline, and make defensive positions in urban or rural terrain. They also came armed with their own personal weapons, most notable for, in my opinion, close quarter combat. And Folk fucking carries with him a 9mm and General Shepard's fucking Magnum. So later on at 9:20 p.m., a car slowly drives up to the house and a gunfight breaks out, and it only lasts for 10 minutes until police arrive. But a Hilltop Crip fired a round into the air, so the first police officer that was on scene fucking 180s out of there until more cops pull into the block. I guess it's really not worth that 401k, man. In the end, no one was hurt. Or were they? But after the officers learned of the Rangers' defense plan, the responding sergeant scolded them and told them they should have called the police for assistance once shots were fired. I feel like I've been waterboarded in dumbassery after that sentence. The police only respond after the situation happens. And a while back, I too was in a situation less difficult than this that could have resulted in me losing 2 of my family members. Even though they weren't spring chickens, they were fucking ready to go balls to the wall. And after that situation, they let the guy go because they felt sorry for him. Same thing in this situation. 2 guys were apprehended and 1 guy only got 22 months. And even more dumbassery, Folk never received any promotions because of this situation. And his army buddies were told by mommy that they couldn't go over to his house to play with him anymore. Even though in the army they swear to protect from foreign and domestic situations. I wouldn't say terrorism. I don't fucking know. Sure, situations, we'll go with that. But the good news out of this, the city of Tacoma funded the dollars to receive more police officers, and the military considered that the incident is a self-defense for the off-duty Rangers. Even more, the officer tasked with disarming the Rangers, feeling that they had done nothing wrong, struck a deal in which they would hand over only their less valuable guns. All weapons taken were owned lawfully. What a fucking guy, in my opinion. Like, keep the 12 gauge. I'll just take this 9mm that's only $300. I just hope we all learned a moral lesson from this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad that video from like 3 years ago popped up in my recommended. I'm glad my algorithm is like pushing me fucking random ass videos. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. I hope I could do more videos like this, and see you around. Peace.